Okay, welcome back everybody. So today we're going to start with Unit 8 Lesson 2, which is about dividing exponents. So last time we did multiplying exponents, now we're going to do dividing exponents. And here is Yoda again. So the main idea here that I want you guys to make sure that you're taking notes on is that when you divide exponents that have the same base, meaning it's, x to the second and x to the fifth, or x to the second and x to the third, the exponents subtract. You also, when you're doing this, want to keep track of which part of the fraction the exponent was on in order to avoid having a negative exponent. You always want to make sure your answers to these have positive exponents. So let's take a look at a really simple example here. So let's say that we have x to the third. All right, x to the third over plane x. Now, again, if there's no power here, the power that's really there is 1. Let's take a look at this in an expanded way. So I'm going to expand both of these exponents here. X to the third is the same thing as x times x times x. So x times itself 3 times. And x to the first is just x. Now, you might be able to see here that I can cancel out an x on top with an x on bottom, and that'll leave me with x to the second. Now, since this is a fraction, it's really dividing, and that means that this is going to be x to the 3 minus 1, which is x to the second, the same answer that we got here. So dividing the exponents subtracts the powers and leaves us with whatever is left behind. So this is the simplest version that this can show up as. It can get a bit more complex from here. So let's take a look at an example that's maybe a bit more complex. That would have you using some fractions, and then we'll look at some delta math examples. So let's say that we have, let's do 14 a to the third b over 7. We'll do a to the second b to the fourth. Yes, hello Yoda. All right. So dealing with this, we're going to do kind of the same thing we did with the multiplying bases, but we're going to deal with the number part first. So first we're going to deal with 14 over 7. So 14 over 7 as a fraction can reduce down to 2 over 1. A to the third over a to the second, if we subtract those exponents, we get a to the first. And what I said above about keeping track of where the exponent is, 3 minus 2 is 1. But we're going to make sure that that a to the first goes on whichever side of the fraction had the most a's to begin with. So in this case, we had more a's on top than on bottom, so it's going to be a to the first on top. Now with plane b, if there's no exponent, there's an exponent of 1. And then b to the fourth. 4 minus 1 is 3, but that b to the third isn't going to go on top. It's going to go where there were more b's to begin with. There's more b's on bottom, so b to the third goes on bottom. That would be it. Okay, well, let's take a look at how this is going to show up on today's Delta Math assignment. Okay, so here we are. Here's an example of today's Delta Math assignment. Now, we have a setup here where there's 27 on top, but there's no number on bottom. Now, if there's no number on bottom, remember that you can always just add a 1 as the number in front. So 27 over 1 stays just 27 over 1. You don't have to have the 1 on the bottom, but I'm going to add it just so that I can see it there. Now x to the fifth on top, and if there's plain x on the bottom, that's really x to the first. 5 minus 1 is 4. There's more x's on top, so x to the fourth goes on top. Now we're looking to look at the y's. 7 minus 3 is 4. There's more y's on bottom, so y to the fourth goes on bottom. Now, when you're creating this answer, similar to how you were doing with the multiplying exponents, you have to be kind of cautious about how you're entering this. So I'm going to enter 27x to the fourth divided by, and so you can see that it puts the whole thing on top. Now, I can add the 1. It's not something I need to worry about not putting. So 1y to the fourth. And if I submit this, it should be just fine with that 1 on the bottom. And it is. All right, cool. Let's go through another example. You only have to do 5 for today. Tomorrow's assignment, you'll have more. So let's do a new problem here. Okay, so 25 and 5 are going to simplify. So this is going to reduce down to 5 over 1. All right, Yoda. Oh, she's very interested in what's going on. And then x to the 4th, x to the 2nd, 4 minus 2 is 2. And there's more x's on bottom, so x to the 2nd goes on bottom, just like that. It's hard for me to draw with my mouse. And now y to the 5th and y to the 3rd, 5 minus 3 is 2, so y to the 2nd goes on top. So for the answer here, we've got 5y to the 2nd divided by, and then on bottom we've got 1x to the 1x to the 2nd, or just x to the 2nd. You don't have to add the 1. I'm not going to in this case, but if you do add the 1, it's totally fine with that. So there we go. Now you have 5 of these problems you have to do for today after you take notes. So take notes first. Once you're done with the notes, then go to Delta Math. You have 5 of these problems. You'll have another Delta Math assignment tomorrow. You won't have to do notes. When you're done with the notes and the Delta Math, you don't have to show me your notes. You can just submit it, and then I will grade it from the Delta Math assignment. And part of that grade will also be me understanding that you probably took the notes. If you don't understand what you're doing, again, just like last time, there's a watch help video option here where you can see somebody else go through the exact same thing that I just went through. So, okay, cool. Let me know if you have any problems. You can email me, or you can leave a comment on the assignment in Google Classroom. Other than that, I hope everybody has themselves a great day.